Hey everybody, welcome to Ready to Ramble, the wrestling discussion show here on Hyper RPG. I'm Cameron, this is Sarah. Let's get ready to ramble. Yo guys, welcome to Ready to Ramble, the wrestling discussion show here on Hyper RPG. So excited to get into the wrestling news. If this is the first time you're joining us, what we talk about wrestling news from this week. We have pay-per-view. We got to talk about things happened.
Do we have to talk about it?
We had predictions. We're on the road to WrestleMania. If you are not a wrestling fan, though, don't you worry. You stick around. We're going to leave this show open for you. This is for people who maybe don't know wrestling, but if you know wrestling, you're going to have a good time, too. Sarah, how you doing?
Oh, man. I'm okay.
You had your own little journey.
I did. I hope the person that maybe is in the Metro tracks is okay as well. That's all I know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a thing. But hey, I'm here. I'm ready to talk about the travesty that occurred, and that was Fastlane.
That was you know what though? We did pretty good. We did all right
yeah.
as far as our predictions go.
Our predictions, yeah. I think I got 4 out of 7 right. Maybe 5 out of 7.
Yeah, which ones did we get wrong? Nia beat Sasha. Sasha beat Nia. We got that one wrong.
We got that wrong.
We were. I don't know if
you and I disagreed on one, and you got that one wrong, and I got that one right, and I think it was the Roman Reigns one, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I thought they would. I thought they were going to give it to Braun.
Man.
You know what? We're already talking about it. Let's get into it. You know
let's
who we
get
are,
into it.
guys. We're going to get to news after we talk about Fastlane. Fastlane is the news. So Fastlane happened. Was this a pay-per-view that needed to happen? Couldn't these have just all happened on Raw?
Oh my God, yes. And in fact, this was like a bad episode of Raw.
Yeah.
Things happened that made no sense. Even at one
5
point,
out of 7 people are keeping track. Thank you so much.
The New Day showed up with their pop cycle, just said there was ice cream in it, did not show any ice cream.
Show, don't tell.
And then left. Why were they even, this is not an episode of Raw. Why were they with the Jinder and Rusev?
So remember how we said, guys, if you watched last week, you'll remember that we talked about how oftentimes there will be matches we can't make predictions on because they're made on the day. That was this with the Jinder Mahal Rusev match that I guess they were. Here's the thing, y'all. Raw's 3 hours. SmackDown's 2 hours. That's if you're just counting the WWE stuff. There's so much more. Sometimes you got to fast forward. Did I miss something? Were they already breaking this partnership apart on Raw previously?
No, they were not.
Okay.
It apparently got broken up over YouTube, maybe? Because I just tuned in and was
they're doing
wait,
that again.
What just happened?
So, guys, sometimes there would occasionally be times where, and they haven't done this for a little while, so maybe they're bringing it back, where they would move storylines along either on Twitter or any other new social media app. You would suddenly find out there were these feuds. It would cut to the new episode of Raw, and Michael Cole would be like, well, we got to talk about what was happening on Smash Video this past weekend with these two wrestlers. And you'd be like, what the hell's Smash Video? And they'd be like, follow WWE on Smash Video. Yes. Total Divas has done this a lot, where there will be feuds that, and here which is so weird to me because Total Divas clearly films like 6-7 months prior.
Right.
And then a feud will happen because of something that happened on Total Divas, where we'll be like, this Sunday on Total Divas, Natalia and Summer Rae got into a fight. Now they're going to have a match on Raw. I hope you watch Total Divas.
Right.
So I guess now they're doing it over YouTube.
Trying to tie it in.
Between these tag partners. Oh, man. Poor Rusev.
It really sucks. So to catch you guys up real quick, Jinder Mahal was somebody who had gotten injured, went away. Or no, he didn't get injured. I'm sorry. He just left. He went away. He came back with a better body. That's why I thought he'd been injured. He
did the Triple H workout, you
right,
think?
He became what we call hard body Mahal.
Mm-hmm.
And I say we as in commentators.
That's
calling
true.
him Hard Body Mahal.
Well, that's why they remember tag team. It was Hard Body Mahal and Handsome Rusev.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happened was there was an anger management storyline with Enzo. Jinder Mahal was in it. I guess somebody really enjoyed watching Jinder and Rusev beat up Enzo at the same time. They put those two together, and to be perfectly honest, I've been enjoying their matchups.
I agree.
It's a great way to keep Rusev looking strong while still having him involved in storylines. And then with no build-up, with nothing at all, they just broke them up and had them fight each other during a pay-per-view two people that no one really cares about that much.
Fighting two other people.
And then they threw Cesaro in there.
Oh.
And then Big Show came out.
Yeah. Guys, there's the thing.
It's a Big Show.
Guys, we love wrestling, but sometimes, man, oh my God. I don't understand. Also, can we talk about what Rusev's hair? Yes or no now?
It's terrible. Rusev got his hair cut, and instead of looking like the Bulgarian brute, he looks like Coffee McCoffee hipster.
Yeah, he looks like the dude you would see, like, where you're like, that dude works out a lot, but he's probably writing a script right now.
Right. Yeah, like he needed
which is
a
what I'm
scarf
trying to go for,
around his
y'all.
neck.
Which is the goal I'm going for. Hopefully this year I will be Copy Hipster who writes a screenplay and is but yeah, so that's
not a good look.
That was the opening of Fastlane. And I mean, going through it, like, okay.
I actually have like a list of things
Go,
that made me angry.
Hit it.
I'll try to go in a little bit of order, I guess. So we've spent all this time building up Nia and Braun to be kind of these unstoppable forces.
Mm-hmm.
With Nia, they've been throwing jobber after jobber after jobber at her. And then for Braun, jobber, jobber, jobber. And then lately they let him actually start getting to wrestlers.
Yeah.
So I don't get the point of building them up to be super, super strong, to have them immediately lose to the person who's supposed to beat them eventually. You know, like what you normally do is you build somebody up as strong and then you can't beat them and then you beat them.
Well, this is the thing we've talked about with Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, God love the man. He's a crazy billionaire. Crazy billionaire man. Who I think if it seems like something is going, he's very guilty of what people who didn't like Westworld are guilty of, which you can have many criticisms of Westworld, and I'll hear it out. But often I tended to hear, well, I knew what was going to happen at the end, and I didn't like that. I called it. And it's this mindset that the only good thing is the only good storytelling now is a surprise storytelling. That if storylines go in directions we expect them to, because we know how stories should work, that therefore they are bad. And Vince McMahon, has often been said, is very guilty of, like, if news gets out or it seems like something is obvious, he will switch it up so that the audience will be surprised. And it seems to again, use the word surprise him when the audience gets upset. A good example of this is, I mean, obviously there's great examples of, like, this working out, but there's an example. God, I'm trying to think. There's an example of, like, news got out of who was going to win a certain match, or like, oh, I think this guy's going to be the champion. So then Vince, I think, put it on Roman. I think it was kind of one of those cases where it's like, I'm going to make sure Roman Reigns wins. The audience will be surprised. It'll be a huge surprise. And then they hate it, and he's like, but they were surprised.
Right. It's very shocking when it doesn't make sense based on everything else that comes before, which makes us not care about story. And then if you don't care about story, then a lot of the wrestling doesn't make any sense. So it's just very confusing why, both Sasha and Roman won clean. And what that means is they didn't, there was no interference. Nobody had their feet on the ropes.
No.
There was no trickery involved. They just straight up won through the power of wrestling. And Sasha won from a roll-up. And Braun lost to a spear.
Well, everyone loses to the spear. I think there's a degree. The only caveat I'll give the Braun match is it took a couple moves to get Braun down, and it ended up being that rather than Braun go for his finisher, he went off the top rope and he got speared. So it could almost be looked at as similar to Goldberg Lesnar, where Braun got confident, went for a move, and it took him out. He won't do that move again. Right. They can storyline that one. Nia, on the other hand.
Yeah, Nia. Yeah. So I did read somewhere that Sasha was supposed to have held her tights or grabbed the rope for leverage.
I think if you go watch that match, it looks like she's trying to do something like that, but couldn't quite do it.
Right. So if that had happened, that would be, first of all, a heelish kind of thing to do, which would suggest that maybe Sasha's finally going to get her chance. But either way, it was still very strange because she didn't need to really win other than them just creating that randomly. So I thought that whole thing was like, why build Nia up and then not use her? But even worse to me than that was Charlotte.
Yeah.
Built up Charlotte's pay-per-view. Charlotte is undefeated in pay-per-view. 16 wins or some crazy mess until Fastlane, where she lost clean to Bayley.
In a weird, this is the thing that's weird about this loss too, is that Charlotte sent Dana Brooke to the back.
Oh, yes. I did want to talk about
She
this.
sent Dana Brooke to the back, and then Sasha comes out and interferes so that therefore Bayley, with a distraction, is able to win. So Bayley, who's supposed to be the hottest face champion right now, versus Charlotte, who's supposed to be this conniving heel, and Charlotte's a great heel, and Charlotte plays heel. She lost via heel tactics, but they're not telling the story as if like Charlotte got her comeuppance or her own medicine was used against her. And this is something
because you can't tell that story with Bayley anyway.
No, and I think this is something we're seeing a lot in WWE is like the faces are kind of heely.
It just really makes me angry.
Yeah.
Because Bayley is the only pure babyface woman that they have on Raw. She connects with the crowd because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Little girls like her because of how good she is. They don't have to come up with all this other bullshit storyline that they keep trying to add to her.
Agreed.
To make her likable. You don't have to do that. You can have her lose over and over and over again, in fact, and people will still like her because she's Bayley and she's cheerful and she's an underdog.
Mm-hmm.
So to have her going against Charlotte, who I'm going to be plain and simple here, Charlotte makes Bayley look bad in the ring because she's just better than her in the ring, and we've seen different matches from Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte's amazing. Yeah.
So to have her do that, yes, you did need some interference for her to win. But by that very interference, by her saying, hey, make your person go to the back and then let my person come out, that tarnishes what Bayley is. And if you make Bayley heely and stand up for herself, you take away what makes Bayley Bayley. Why are you so dumb?
Speaking of, do we want to get into KO?
Okay, so as Fastlane was going on and on and on, it was an especially draggy show.
Yeah, yes, it was.
You know what? We're downing on it a lot. So real quick, can we talk about the good thing? The Cruiserweight match. The Cruiserweight match.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't want to like sit here and start our show off just downing. So let's talk about something uplifting.
Well,
and wonderful.
this is the thing, guys. It's our first pay-per-view since we started the show, so we're going to talk about the pay-per-views. And if it's good, we'll say it's good, but we're not going to bullshit you. But there are some good spots in bad pay-per-views, and there are bad spots in good pay-per-views. So we're gonna have that kind of thing.
The match between Gallagher and Neville was awesome. It was the highlight of Fastlane. It was just phenomenal. People were afraid watching, like, oh, they're gonna die. That man's gonna be broken in half, or that German suplex. Like, it was intense.
Oh, it was brutal.
You were all in, even if you didn't know who these people were. You're like, they very quickly got you into it, and I was just really happy because I love the Cruiserweights, and I feel like people don't give the Cruiserweights their chance a lot of times because of how the storylines don't intersect. So I absolutely love this match. It was wonderful.
I agree.
Yes.
But yeah, Kevin Owens, he got this is the interesting thing.
Sorry, that's why I did bring that up. My bad. By the time that came, everyone online was going, "Oh, the final match is going to be very short."
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yep. I will say this in comparison to the other matches, KO getting squashed is a bummer. At the same time, I can understand it depending on what happens at Mania. If this is going to be Goldberg is back and Goldberg is squashing people left and right, and then you have Lesnar destroy him at Mania, there's a degree... If that's supposed to be the big match at Mania, one of the big matches is Goldberg-Lesnar 3, I guess to some extent, storyline-wise, it makes sense to not have much of a match because you can't make it look like... Because by rules of law and wrestling and all that kind of stuff, if KO looks like he's going to actually beat Goldberg and Jericho's not there in his corner, he's going to... like it's actually a competitive match, you are therefore elevating KO above Brock Lesnar. However you feel about that personally, that's not something the company's going to do right now. So it's one of those weird, tough positions. So I understand this move. I'm not super happy about it, but I understand it.
On retrospect, given time to think about it, yeah, I felt the same way. Like, okay, I can understand why you did this. But again, the problem I had going into the match is you do not need Brock or Goldberg to have belts on them for this to be a main event. People, for the nostalgia alone, that's all they care about. No one actually cares about them having the championship belts because they know that no matter what, they're part-timers, and it's not really a big deal.
Oh, we got to talk about the WrestleMania poster. Oh, my God. There's some heat on that bad boy.
There's a little bit. So... First of all, having that match, using Kevin Owens this way, he was essentially thrown under the bus. He's been built up, and he's been doing great, and then you just fed him is what they generally call it. He
Well,
was fed to somebody.
That's interesting. Do you feel this has been a good championship? It's been fun with Jericho, but do you think having a pair to some extent has kind of eclipsed KO even being champion? Did it matter if he was champion?
I think there were still matches that were interesting. I think Jericho added to that, right? Like the reason he's champion is because Jericho keeps helping him. So I felt like they were feeding into the story either way. And yes, eventually Kevin Owens should be brought down, but it just felt like this was a cheap way to do it because we all could, like, I think if I was a little kid, this would be fine, right? Because I'm maybe not wise enough to see that clearly this 50-year-old man who is sweating profusely, just pouring sweat.
He's got that Shane McMahon sweat going.
He's just talking. He's not even doing anything. Is not as physically fit as Kevin Owens, and that's kind of crazy to say if you look at their two bodies next to each other. But
it's about getting. It's not necessarily about like being ripped. It's about how quickly can you get gassed.
Right. Kevin Owens can sit there and do a somersault from anywhere in the ring.
Yes.
Standing still anywhere. And Goldberg has trouble doing simple stuff, or at least starts sweating enough that it looks like he has trouble. So it was just really hard for me as a fan to enjoy the match because it looked like he shouldn't have won, is what my problem was. It didn't look believable.
Right. But I guess I can throw it out to the Jericho interference to some extent. I will say I did enjoy Kevin Owens sticking outside the ring for a while. And then Jericho coming back. So now obviously it's going to be Jericho Owens at Mania, which I think is going to be great. I'm looking forward to that match. And I'm looking forward to the next couple weeks of Jericho on the mic.
I love that coming into Monday Night Raw, he was immediately not being a heel. Remember, he normally comes in, he's like, "You stupid idiots" to the crowd, but this time he was like, "Chicago," or wherever they were. He immediately did an about face of like, "Look, everyone loves me. I'm friends with all these people." That's completely different than what we've been seeing from Jericho. So, and the crowd fed into it. Nobody remembered that he normally calls them stupid idiots. They were like, "Yes, I love you, Jericho." Yeah, no,
Jericho's great. So, yeah, we got Mania coming up, beginning of April. I'm very interested to see how that's going to go. Can't promise anything at the moment, but we did do an Oscar watch along here at Hyper. And I did throw out to Zach about maybe doing a WrestleMania watch along.
Oh man, that would be awesome. We could invite some of my friends.
He made the biggest I smell a stinky fart face ever. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. We'll keep people updated, but if that doesn't happen, don't worry. We'll probably live tweet it anyway. That will for sure be happening. But let us jump in to the other news of the week. Fastlane overall, did not.
I would say that's the worst pay-per-view of at least the year. Potentially one of the worst pay-per-views in a few years. It was long. Yeah. It was pointless. It didn't further any storylines. It confused us.
Elimination Chamber won out of the two brands for the pay-per-views of the month. Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. But other news. So...
we can talk about what happened in wrestling a little bit, or dive right into either way. Okay. So Monday Night Raw was where I hoped to get answers to all of my confusion.
Right, of course, that's the hope.
So as we said, Jericho came out. He's now doing an about face. Ha 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 ha! I'm so funny. And then Kevin Owens was out there. Then Samoa Joe appeared, and you're like, "Oh no!" But then Sami Zayn ran out, and we got to watch Sami Zayn and Jericho be friends for 2 seconds.
2 seconds.
I actually popped.
That's awesome.
Is a term for like just getting real excited, giving the exact reaction that they want from you. So I had that reaction. I was like, "Oh, Sami Zayn, yes, save him!" And so I was really pleased with that little storyline. And then on SmackDown. Okay, so we talked about Orton setting the house on fire already last time. So now they were like, "Hey, you know what? We like Orton now." So Orton and AJ, for no reason, absolutely no reason. In fact, we're going to come out in the beginning of the show and we're going to talk about how this is totally arbitrary. We're going to have the two of you fight because we can't decide which one of you should go face Bray at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, because it's very clear it's going to be AJ versus Shane, which what a waste of AJ Styles.
So that's what made it clear. They were like, "All right, you guys have the match." It was a great match.
Yeah.
Orton and AJ put on a phenomenal match.
Some people in the chat are saying, "Was I telling Zach to buy WrestleMania?" No. I'd bring my Roku over. I got the network.
was like, we all got the network. It's only $10. Guys, we keep telling you to get the network. It's actually really worth it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great price. Even with a terrible, like if I had paid for that pay-per-view any other way, I would be angry. Instead of being angry, I'm just like, guys, why? Because it really cost me like 10 cents.
Yeah, it's true.
So that was kind of the big things that happened. Okay.
Well, at least on WWE. So last week, this is not on our rundown, but we got to talk about it. Last week we did talk about all the people leaving TNA. And we talked about, the Hardys going to go to WWE. It looks likely. Literally the day after we did our show, it was announced Hardys are not going to WWE. They signed with Ring of Honor. They're the tag champs. It was like, okay, that's news. And then yesterday,
Ring of Honor had their 15th anniversary show, and somebody awesome showed up.
Oh yeah, do you want to get into that?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Bully Ray, better known as Bubba
Ray Dudley.
Bubba Dudley. Now Bully Ray. He's apparently really good at keeping secrets because he originally had kept it a secret that he's coming back to the WWE in the first place.
Oh yeah, the Rumble,
So,
a couple of years ago.
You know, we didn't know, but he shows up at the Ring of Honor anniversary show, and you know we had the Hardy Boys there as well. So it was a pretty great show. I think they had Adam Cole also in it. It's just it was just great, just a bunch of greatness in Vegas, and I'm a little upset that I didn't plan ahead because I could have gone. It's fine.
That would have been pretty cool. But so we're talking about too. Ruby Sky yesterday. You know about this? You aware of this?
Ruby Sky? What?
Matt Hardy's wife.
Oh nope, I don't know that lady.
So she was in all the broken Matt Hardy storylines because she's his real life wife, and she's also a professional wrestler. When they did not sign with TNA, she went on a Twitter rampage against TNA because one of the guys who owns TNA was basically like
Impact.
Impact Wrestling. Thank you so much to Broken Matt Hardy and the Broken Universe, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So she tweeted out this whole thing like, oh, that's how we're going to play it, huh? So let me find this because this is it's too good.
Well, it's interesting because a bunch of people did not re-sign with TNA, now called Impact Wrestling, which did suggest that there was something going on. So I am interested to hear that.
Okay, so she probably went on another Twitter rampage. Basically, one of the things I had heard is that TNA is trying to claim that they own the broken characters, and on top of that, that they own the characters of Senior Benjamin, who is, for those who don't know, Ruby Sky's actual father. So Matt Hardy's real life father-in-law. What a bad plan.
So and Hardy actually just went and applied for a copyright for Broken Matt Hardy. So this is what often happens. We mentioned it before with Phoenix and Pentagon, who's now got to go by some crazy name that I can't even keep track of, like El Pento Dedo or something. Anyway,
supposedly Impact sent a cease and desist order to them and Ring of Honor about using the gimmick.
So what happens is sometimes neither the wrestler nor the wrestling organization has actually signed for the copyright yet. So wrestlers it'll sometimes be a little argument and a little back and forth while they both rush to hurry up and file that copyright and argue their claim. It's really strange, really annoying, and I hate it.
So this is what Ruby Sky said. This was yesterday. I'm going to censor some of the language. First, Matt Hardy said, many valiant men and women remain in the TNA trenches fighting in the quote-unquote Great War. I may exist on another plane now, but fight onward, soldiers. And Ed Nordholm, who works for TNA, we thank Matt Hardy for his superb performance in Broken Universe. May the seven deities guide with their broken brilliance left behind. To which Reby wrote, laugh my ass off, screw you guys, Ed Nordholm, Real Jeff Jarrett, Impact Wrestling. More than happy to play this game. Can we just talk about how many times Matt's contract could have been broken due to numerous issues on TNA's end, and he never made a fuss about it? But MFers want to try and come at us now after the fact. Don't you have an owl to promote or some shit? I'm not sure what that means. Or
an owl?
Yeah, or I don't know, a company to quote unquote make great instead of acting like petty little bitches you are. Speaking of
petty, that you said you were going to edit it. You did it.
That one you can say on TV. Speaking of petty, nice video package of TNA's quote-unquote history with no visual or mention of Jeff Hardy, who gave all of his 7 years or Kurt Angle, but y'all sure made sure you got those 2 video ID shots of Jeff Jarrett in there. Laugh my ass off. But it's quote-unquote just business, brother, right? Petty. Everything these boys have done for the company, and you want to try and screw us and say, for the sake of it, literally no other reason except you mad. How about my husband leaving me a day after giving birth to make your TV tapings? That's how dedicated this MFer was to the company. How about 3 of the highest rated TV segments of 2016 were financed by Hardy's solely to help the product and business they believed in TNA, or all the shit talking by Jeff Jarrett throughout contract negotiations. And Matt was still there, professional and trying to make things work for 2017. Oh, and this is the best part. These MFers trying to come after Senior Benjamin. Laugh my ass off, I can't. Senior Benjamin, my dad, by the way, who was never paid a dime by the company and who was obviously never under contract. Not that those contract things mean anything to TNA until after they're over or until 3 days before they expire, apparently. Funny thing is, everyone who ever actually had anything to do with Broken Matt Hardy has our back on this. What do you have to say?
Ooh, got him. Got him. She just went all the way in.
Oh,
on
she
that man.
went off.
Hilarious. Well, we knew there was something going on from but people do try to maintain being professional because they're trying to.
Well, you never know if you gotta go
somewhere
back.
else. Yeah,
you never know if you gotta go back.
You gotta go back. Yeah.
But she's also pregnant again, so it might be a little
It
while.
might just be the pregnancy.
So she might be a little bit wild till she's back in the
it's
ring.
probably a girl baby then.
No, it's a boy. They announced that on TNA.
Oh, okay. Well, then she can't blame the pregnancy. So I did forget to mention
Oh,
something.
no, I'm not blaming the pregnancy. I was thinking about her working other places.
I was blaming the pregnancy. So there is something I forgot to mention that makes me really angry. And we'll talk about it.
Oh, yes.
So Tom Phillips. I don't know if we discussed this on the show.
We did not.
Okay.
So do you want to give it a little backstory?
Little
backstory on this one?
Tom Phillips is pretty new commentator over at SmackDown. He joined that team. It's like 4 people at the table now. It's really awkward. So he kind of was texting somebody. And
Kind of.
that girl found out that he had a fiance. Her friends told her. So she took a screenshot, and that screenshot included his face. He was like on an airplane, and the text that basically said he wanted to do something to her face that, you would think Tom Phillips knew how to do. But anyway.
He comes across very square.
Yeah, he comes across as
quite square.
Like an L7, like he's a good boy, but apparently
not.
He's into some stuff.
Woo.
Anyway, it's always the quiet ones. So tell me why this Tuesday it was Tom Phillips who they focused the camera on. Meanwhile, there's like a Tom Phillips section sign over in one point, just making fun of him. And they decide that he should be the one to talk about Women's History Month. And so first of all, I'm already kind of like, really? This is okay.
Shut it down, WWE. Just shut it all down.
But then
You ruined it.
I do have to point this out. I mentioned me and Iffy very briefly made a tiny little joke about how Black History Month was a little weird with the WWE because they talked about black icons that we all know about, like Jackie Robinson and Martin Luther King, people with nothing to do with wrestling. And people argued like, oh, well, they just blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, there's no real argument. I say blah, blah, blah because there's no actual real argument for why they didn't show it. People are like, oh, but Crime Time. And I'm like, you can say anything you want about Crime Time because we have crazy ass gimmicks nowadays too. It's fine. Anyway, for Women's History Month, they talked about Lita and Trish. And immediately I'm floored because they went the entire month of Black History Month showing all of these Black history people that had absolutely nothing. I mean, they even showed Obama, and I got nervous when they showed the crowd after talking about Obama. But they couldn't show a single black wrestler who did something awesome, which there are black wrestlers who have done awesome things. But they immediately start showing women wrestlers, and I just thought that was kind of crazy. And I want to call you out on it, WWE.
How do you not even like bring up The Rock? I know he's only half African American, half Samoan, but it's like
they could have brought up The Rock. They could have brought up Booker T.
They could have brought up so many people.
Yeah, Mr. T. In fact, like it's actually a bunch of moments that happened historically for black wrestlers, and they didn't want to bring any of them up, but they don't have a problem bringing up the historicalness of the women, and I just think that's a weird, strange double standard.
Which I mean, yeah, it's very interesting. Like they're very. WWE, God love them, they're very proud of themselves for the Women's Revolution last year. They did a whole network segment about it. And I get it, and it's great. It should have been done. But they are very self-congratulatory about doing so. When at the same time, Lucha Underground was already doing amazing stuff with women.
WWE is like the only ones who's still pretending that women can't wrestle men.
Yes.
You guys are not actually doing anything great. Meanwhile, the Black Lotus Triad over on Lucha Underground freaking ruled and got through some arm breaking. It was amazing. We're going to actually talk about them in a second because that's also some news.
So yeah, let's keep the truck moving forward. So sticking on the WWE train for a moment, guys, our first photo of the night, there was Triple H is getting some ring work in. He's got a great dad beard going right now. As you can see, we got Triple H, we got Samoa Joe, we got Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Jericho.
Who's that? Who's that?
Finn Balor. He's back. He's back, everybody. Oh.
Listen, it's pretty exciting. We're all excited. I hope he's healed enough and it's okay. But yeah, it's first of all, it's exciting that he's back. Second of all, it's exciting to see them like this. Now, what they do in live shows, they don't always carry over into non-live shows, but it is a way where they test how people are feeling about something. So if the crowd reaction to this is very positive, we may get to see this.
So for those of you who don't know, like this was at a house show. House shows, and some people might not know this, house shows are like non-televised WWE events. They'll try things out there. A lot of times you'll see matches that you'll never see on TV. Because they will just kind of try things at a house show because it quote unquote doesn't matter. I've been to a couple house shows. The coolest house show thing I ever saw was during the Attitude Era, The Rock and Stone Cold in a steel cage match against Undertaker and Mankind, and it was the classic blue steel cage. Those guys were not fighting on the time. I mean, I think if anything, Mankind and Undertaker were just coming out of the Boiler Room Ball, but like they would have like tag teams happen where it's like, yeah, you just fought on a pay-per-view. Yeah, you're in a tag team.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I loved the live shows that I've been to. There was a really good women's one. I'm trying to remember what the makeup of the match was. Oh, it included somebody who hasn't come out yet. That's why hopefully it's why they haven't done it. But it's exciting to see Finn Balor back. I hope we get to see him on television soon. And
I mean, he's got to make an appearance at Mania, right? Like I don't think he can't do. He doesn't have a Money in the Bank. He can't do the Seth Rollins run-in at the end. But I got to imagine whoever wins that championship. This is prediction town. Whoever wins that championship gonna hold up the belt at the end of Mania, and then you're just gonna hear like, dun, 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 and then he's gonna come out in the suit. Crowd's gonna pop. He's gonna point at the guy, and then we're gonna be like, oh my God, Raw tomorrow night. He's back. The demon's back.
I think that's actually completely true and exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Somebody write it down so we don't forget to find out if Cameron's right, because I think Cameron is right.
Oh.
So speaking of the Black Lotus Triad, I've never said her real name out loud before. Kairi Hojo is what I'm guessing it is. She's from Stardom, which is somewhere else. But were we showing the video right now?
We can hold up.
We can show it right now because I want to show you guys. She has what is considered the most beautiful elbow drop in the
it's
entire
devastating
world of wrestling. Like men, women, whatever. I'm gonna let you watch this a couple times because you have to just look at that salute. Whee!
Oh man, done Macho Man.
The legs up, just beautiful. Anyway, so she's
because elbow drops are hard to make look devastating sometimes.
They are, and just the way she kicks her feet up to do it, like nobody else
God.
is doing that. Anyway, she's Doku was what we knew her as on Lucha Underground. She was part of a group of 3 women who were the triad of the Black Lotus, and they came out and they fought Pentagon. And it was dope. And anyway, she was originally supposedly approached by WWE, supposedly said no, but now we have news that she reportedly has signed with the WWE, and we're not sure. Supposedly it's a 3-year contract, and we're not sure if that means she's taking part in the women's tournament, which, as we know, the Cruiserweight tournament led to a lot of people being signed long-term for the 205 Live. The same thing may happen with the women's tournament.
I'm very excited for that tournament. That's going to be so killer. Mm-hmm. On the sad news front, we lost another one. We keep losing these classic wrestlers, guys. Who'd we lose? Talk about this. My mind like
Ron Bass.
We lost Ron Bass. We got a photo right here. Guys, we are going to keep losing classic wrestlers. That's the problem with getting older, y'all. Like, people talk about 2016 was a bad year. That's not it, man. Our parents probably had a bad year too, because you grow up and your icons start passing away real quick. Like,
wow, my friend who wrestles right now basically wears that exact outfit, and I never got the. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna tell him next time that I got it.
You ripped this off.
I get it.
So one of those classic classic old school wrestlers. I'm sure there's stories out there. So rest in peace and thank you for all that you've done.
Speaking of disappointing news, remember when we talked about Jack Swagger leaving the WWE and immediately getting another job to go wrestle what was once Alberto Del Rio? I think he's El Patron now. Well, anyway, the WWE absolutely did say no and shut that down.
Yeah.
So he doesn't get to do it. They are rescheduling that for another time.
Oh, boy. Well, sorry, Jack. Another time, though.
Another time.
Your time will come.
Your time.
So shall we jump into the homework?
Let's jump into the homework.
Y'all, Iffy will be back next week, maybe. And that's where we will do his Undertaker Shawn Michaels casket match as well as my homework, because I got a great one coming for you.
Right. We do need Iffy to be here when we talk about that. So instead, we're going to talk about NXT TakeOver between Sasha and Bayley. Just an iconic match. In fact, if you are curious about the women's evolution and everything like that, there's actually, if you do get the WWE Network, there's an actual mini documentary called
that's what I was talking about.
Women's
Yeah,
Evolution, I believe. So
you
go
should check it
watch
out.
that.
It's very good. As much as I'll give WWE shit for like overly patting themselves on the back, it's a very good doc. Their documentary stuff of WWE constantly is great.
They do leave people out, and they're real.
The fact that AJ Lee's never mentioned is a joke. But it's also a very good documentary.
Yes. So ignore that part, everything else, and take it with a slight grain of salt, because they, like you were saying, they pat themselves on the back a little more than is necessary, because it's definitely the women and Triple H who made this happen versus anybody else. So anyway, this match was known as being the first chance for people who only stick to WWE. This was their first chance to see a women's match that really met a lot of our expectations for what a match should be. It harkened back to the Lita and the Trish matches of before, where it was just two women giving 110% and just going in on each other.
And some people hit us up on Twitter, and guys in the chat, if you watch these, definitely let us know what you thought of this, because some people are hitting us up on Twitter saying they really enjoyed this match, they've never seen this before. This match, when this match happened, it was so good that it got a part 2. They did an Iron Man match, a half-hour Iron Man match. For those who don't know, an Iron Man match is where it's a set period of time, and whoever gets the most pinfalls or submissions wins said match. That was a different NXT takeover. It was like Sasha Bayley 2. But this match, people adored this match. I think that this got a couple Match of the Year awards from different wrestling publications. I think,
and not like women's Match of the Year.
No, straight up Match of the Year. A lot of people felt doing this elevated not just the women's division on WWE, but like you said, it woke a lot of people up to, if you were only watching Raw, I don't think you can talk about the history of NXT and not talk about this match.
Yeah.
It was huge. It made a lot of people cross over and start paying attention to NXT.
Definitely. And somebody in the chat mentioned it. So yeah, Sasha, this was when Sasha was the heel. And Sasha,
like a huge heel.
Yeah.
Huge.
And Sasha's a great heel. She's absolutely a better heel than she is a face.
Yes.
And I don't think that's necessarily her fault. You know, I think it's hard to come up with a reason to be wrestling if you're a good person. And that's why from both Bayley and Sasha, we've been hearing this story of, I've wanted to be a wrestler my whole life. And that's their story.
Yes.
Because otherwise, if you're a nice, good person, why are you wrestling people?
Yeah. Someone just asked, was this the match where Sasha made the little girl cry? No, that's Sasha Bayley 2. Mm-hmm. That was during the, that little girl, what's her name again? I'm trying to recall, but she's a big Bayley fan.
Yes.
So for those of you who don't know, I would say definitely go watch. I think this is the better match of the two, but that Iron Man match is a great match. But there's a moment where the little girl, she became kind of like a staple of I think that's it.
Something like that.
There's but for those of you who know, there are fan staples. Izzy, that's right. Yes, Izzy.
There we go. I knew it had an E at the end.
There are like fan staples in ECW. They talked about this on the ECW documentary, that there was a guy with a cowboy hat. There's always those fans you see in the front row. Izzy kind of became
with the long hair and his old mom or maybe girlfriend.
Maybe.
Anyway.
But Izzy became like a staple of NXT for Bayley. She was a big Bayley mark. And so, man, it's beautiful. And this is like such great heel work by Sasha. The little girl starts getting into it, and Sasha makes her cry. The little girl cried, and Sasha played in character. She stayed in character the entire time. From what I heard, after they went off air, Sasha went and talked to the little girl with Bayley and was like, I'm playing a character, this, that, and the other. But Sasha stayed in character. This little girl started crying, and Sasha was just like, grow up, or some kind of remark. Beautiful heel work. Just stay. Oh, so good. But that was match 2. Go watch match 2 though, guys, because it's also great. But this match, this was what pay-per-view was this connected to? What giant pay-per-view? Was it SummerSlam?
SummerSlam, yes. NXT TakeOver is always with SummerSlam.
So the way the NXT takeovers work now, guys, is NXT takeover. They will perform in the big arena where the giant show is happening, and now NXT takeovers, they're going to start putting them with the big 4. The big 4 being Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania. So this was this the first one where they were like, we're going to put NXT in the big arena?
It might be, because I was not watching NXT at this time. So I just like heard from everybody else, oh, you have to see this, you have to see this. And so that's what I watched. So I have no idea if they've been doing takeovers before or anything.
I think this is the first. I think this is the first. If this is not the first takeover, someone will correct me. If this is not the first takeover, this is the first takeover, I think, in the big arena. And I remember being on Twitter, because I was watching NXT at the time. I remember being on Twitter, and you're just seeing like people from the stands putting out, and it felt amazing to watch like these people who, because NXT is usually taped in Full Sail University. It's a very, very small little arena. So to see these guys from NXT, the guys and the gals, in this giant arena, and the crowd is going either crazy or discovering them for the first time, was great. And I think that's where we kind of talk about sometimes a crowd can make a match. If a crowd pops the right way, it can totally make a match. And this crowd was so behind these two. It's a hell of a match. There's a moment at the end that's great with Charlotte and Becky. For those of you who don't know, they were called the 4 Horsewomen. I'm waiting for them to actually do something. They're going to do it. They're going to have to at some point. I don't know if they'll make a staple, but I think they will. It would be foolish to not eventually do something with these 4 in a storyline. They don't need to be a staple called the 4 Horsewomen, but if there's not like a tag thing or something down the line where it's like, here's finally the 4 Horsewomen match we've all wanted. I don't think they'll do
it because of Becky, actually.
Generally,
just her being on SmackDown.
Oh, now I'm not saying it's going to happen soon, but I think as long as none of these women leave or go to Japan in the next like 2 years or something like that, something like that could happen. I think you're going to see there's eventually going to be a 4 Horsewomen, because these people are too close. I think they're too close. Everyone knows them. If you look up 4 Horsewomen, they've done photo shoots of the 4 of them. So as a wrestling fan, it's a very sweet, beautiful moment at the end of that match.
For Bayley's final match with Asuka, they all showed up to watch. And like Charlotte had to sit separately than Sasha and Becky, like to keep them kayfabe. But they all hugged her. So like, yeah, they still consider themselves obviously 4 very close women. But yeah, the sportsmanship thing is always what gets me at the end whenever anything involving sportsmanship is done. Like when what was it, when Shane got speared that one time and looked like maybe there was no Shane left in him. And Orton went over to tell his son, like, be calm. It's okay. Don't freak out. I was just like, I love it. Yeah. Because it's wrestling. Sometimes you got to step back and be like, it's wrestling.
Yeah. It's these are still people. But yeah, guys, check this out. If you have not seen this, high recommend. Let us know what you think of this homework and all the past homeworks if you get around to it. And speaking of which, guys,
I do want to say I did see some people saying that they had a few recommendations for homework. So put those back, post those again for us. I'll write them down.
Post them or hit us up on Twitter. Post us or hit us up on Twitter.
Can you tweet us?
Then we can go through the history.
Yeah, and use the hashtag #ReadyToRamble. Tweet us so we don't miss it, because I would like to do ones that you guys also think are awesome so we can share them with everybody else.
But I want to, and we're definitely going to do that. But I'm going to pull rank, and I'm going to throw mine out next.
You know what I actually think? I think that the 4 Horsewomen are going to. It is your turn, by the way. But I think that the 4 Horsewomen are going to be reincarnated with 4 different women. Is what I think is going to happen. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Yeah. And rehash an old stable. I don't think this is what I want to make it clear. I'm not saying they're going to do a 4 Horsewomen stable or call it that. I'm saying for us, the fans who know that these 4 call themselves the 4 Horsewomen, I think we'll eventually see a tag match or something that involves these 4 in the next 2 or 3 years that fans can pop for. But I don't think they're going to start a stable.
It is unfortunate. I don't think that'll happen. Becky and Bayley were put on 2 different shows because
I agree.
You know, you have two women who are able to be faces. It's very hard to be a face, as we've established already. Why did you split them up? Now they only have the same people to fight. At least on SmackDown, there's enough variety, and they've got Nikki over there. Man, I would tell you what, at the house show, Nikki Bella was the one who got
Nikki's getting better and better.
Yeah, more noise than anyone else. It might be another issue of the Sable thing, where if you just present her as a certain way, people don't actually care about anything else.
Yeah, and credit. You're right. Someone said in the chat, TNA was doing great women's matches before the Revolution. I'll say this: I started watching TNA because of the Knockouts division, which TNA was a fun, alternative, different kind of show. And then they brought in Hulk Hogan. I'm not kidding. They brought in Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff, and it felt like bad WCW again. The Knockouts didn't matter anymore. All the young people didn't matter anymore. It was about rehashing old WCW shit, and I left that burning bridge so quickly. That killed so many little divisions. That's my opinion. But guys, next week's homework. We've been spending a lot of time in WWE land, and I love it, and it makes sense. But I'm going to throw us back.
Way back.
To some WCW guys. Okay. We're going to do Starrcade, Ric Flair versus Big Van Vader from 1993. Guys, I'm so excited to talk about this one. I love this match. It's a brutal match. Vader was one of the hardest hitters ever, and it shows in this match. And also, if you watch this whole pay-per-view, because this was supposed to be like, if Ric Flair loses, he's retiring. You get to see little baby Charlotte as Ric Flair is like in a suit, because there's a whole segment throughout the whole pay-per-view of Ric Flair going to the arena, and he's like, this might be my last match. And he's hugging his family. You see little Charlotte and all this little stuff. But it's a great match, guys. This is on the WWE Network. It's also online in other places. So Vader versus Flair, Starrcade 1993. But I will tweet that out. And that's gonna be great. I think I'm very excited to talk about that one.
And some of you gave yourselves extra homework, which was really cute, and I love it.
Yeah, me too.
So
Thank
if you ever do want an extra assignment after you watch a match too, another fun thing that I like to do is if I see a move that I really like, if I don't know what it's called, first to find out what the move's called, but then I will look up the move in YouTube. And usually a wrestling move is actually done by a lot of different people who just give it different names for new people watching. And sometimes you can discover other people that you love because they also do that same type of move wherever in the world they are. So YouTube is a great resource for finding that sort of thing, and I highly recommend it.
So guys, that brings us to the end of the show. And we end every show with some questions. So we only got a couple minutes, but and also, sorry, before we do that, guys, no Chunky Salsa today. Zach and all those guys are at PAX East. We are minimal crew tonight, so once we are done here, we're wrapping it all up. That's it for the night. So just letting everyone know if anyone's coming in for food, and Chad hopefully will be awesome. People pop in here in the next 5 to 10 minutes and go, "Where's Chunky Salsa?" Not happening this week, but go tweet it. Zach and all those guys over at PAX East. Let them know how it's going. But yeah, let's hit up some Q&As from you, the wrestling fans.
And remember, if you ever think of anything, tweet us, #ReadyToRamble. We'll always answer your questions online, too. Was there a match outcome that took you by surprise or that you weren't expecting? Yes, all of Fastlane.
The real recent one. It was not, that's more recent, but truly, real recent, I did not think Goldberg was going to beat Lesnar. Lesnar Goldberg 2 at SummerSlam. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought this was going to be, I really did. I'm like, because no one thought Goldberg was going to be like a part-timer. I think people thought this was a one and done. It was the mark on Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's still around. I was like, oh, well, they're going to come in. They're going to have a match. Lesnar's clearly going to win. That was so surprising. How quickly it happened was surprising. To me, that was truly shocking. That was a big shocker. As far as recent. If I can go childhood, I got to go Hulk Hogan going NWO. Bash at the Beach. That was crazy.
Yeah. I think when I was a child, it was every time Sable won a match, to be honest. I was always like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. Recent, there have been a few. Honestly, I'm going to say Fastlane for me, though. With Roman and Braun, I really, even though I said Roman was probably going to win, I didn't believe myself. It didn't seem like it made any sense. I was really shocked, and I kind of sat there for a few seconds because he won so cleanly. I thought if he was going to win, it would be because of something outside, but he actually just won the match, and so I was just left sitting there like, oh. And then I think I tweeted about it.
That's a good one. Sorry, real quick, someone asked us our favorite theme songs. Guys, go back to episode 2. This is all out there. It's on the YouTube. We do a whole segment on some of our favorite theme songs, so go check those out. New Japan's Cup started last night. Who is our bet for the winner of the whole thing? We gotta go. I gotta go watch some of that.
I got to catch up on behind.
I gotta catch up. Yeah.
Beth Phoenix going into Hall of Fame before China, Ivory, Victoria, Luna. You can bet your bottom dollar I'm upset about it. I think Beth Phoenix is wonderful. Absolutely. The Glamazon deserves to be in Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I definitely think putting her ahead of people who were from before her time is a slap in the face. And I'm really just hoping they just shock the shit out of me and surprise announce China during it, because otherwise I'm going to be just upset forever. Also, Rick Rude just got added to the Hall of Fame. I did forget to mention that. Rick Rude, that's somebody who looking at is not sexy at all, and then he looks at you and he wiggles his hips and you're like, nope, I'd sleep with him. What?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what I love about Rick Rude. I love that Rick Rude's gimmick so many times when he wasn't the main attraction of the match, when he was like someone's partner or something, would just stand to the side and flex and pose. That was his distraction to the other wrestler, was to just... And it worked. That was the best. Was it worked? People got pinned. I don't think China will happen. Actually, I think China is going to happen next year. I really do. I think it's going to be like. I'm actually shocked Daniel Bryan was not this year. That was the shocker to me, because usually I thought it was going to be like Edge. Anytime someone retires or dies, they give it a year. Except Macho Man, that took forever. And then that's when you see them get inducted. I think China's next year.
I hope so, because otherwise, it's a slap in the face. It's. She was already treated wrongly by the WWE when she was with them.
Yes, she was.
And then to also in death not even be able to put all that aside is crazy to me.
I think Omega's going to win the cup as well. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, the Monkey Princess. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Wait, this is me not being on Twitch a lot. What? Did you just give me some triangles?
Those are bits. Those
thank
are
you
bits.
For my
That's money donations. Those are bits. So thank you very much, the Monkey Princess.
Thank you. Guys, by the way, Zach's not here to stop me from saying this. Like, our show, man, we're still on technically probation. So anything you guys can do during our show to show that you would like this show to continue, please do.
Yeah, any tweets.
Anything. Tweeting, watching, subscribing during our show. It all helps.
And in saying that doesn't mean, we want to make it clear, that doesn't mean Zach came to us like last week and said we're going to get canceled. By no means. But it's about letting Zach know you enjoy the show. I've been on Instagram, and a lot of you guys are very passionate, and thank you so much for that. And we've been on the Discord, and a lot of you are throwing out wrestling slang to us in the Discord. I'm going to try to be more in there. So, guys, thank you so much.
Nobody told me we had a Discord.
Yeah, I'll let
when I saw that message earlier, I was like, I put a blah, blah, blah in the Discord. I was like, we have a Discord?
But guys, thank you so much. We will be back next week. We got a guest lined up, and I think it's going to be great. So watch your homework. Do you guys are going to catch up on Lucha Underground when it comes to Netflix? Of course.
Yes.
Oh, I can't wait.
We're also going to watch Glow when that comes out.
Oh, yeah, girl. We're going to talk about Glow. But guys, so check out, for sure, Vader, Ric Flair. If he should be back next week, we're going to talk about what's going on, the lead up to Mania. Maybe, hopefully, we'll have a update on whether we can do a live Mania watch, and it will just be Mania. We will not live watch the Hall of Fame because you will watch me cry.
Yeah, I think that they said that WrestleMania will be like 7 hours. By the way. Yeah, that was my exact reaction.
We might have to do. We don't have to do like chunks and breaks. And you know what? We don't have time, but we're gonna talk about that WrestleMania poster more next week. We gotta talk about it next week.
Oh yeah, don't forget.
But guys, thank you so much. Please remember, there's no chunky salsa after this. Everyone's in PAX East.
You're all free.
Big ups to Dustin for sticking around and running the boards. Sarah, where can people find you online?
Sarah the Rebel. You can find me on Patreon, guys, because that just cost me a lot of money to get here unexpectedly. I had to Uber. I really need some money. Patreon.com/Sarah the Rebel. Instagram is Sarah the Rebel. Twitter is Sarah the Rebel. Twitch is Sarah the Rebel. YouTube, Sarah the Rebel.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter.com/Jurassic Alien. You can go there for all my stuff, Twitter, Facebook, things of that nature. On Mondays, I'm here with a bunch of people. We're talking usually, we're playing Hero Clicks. So that's great. And also, please check out the Hyper RPG YouTube page, guys. If you haven't been there, subscribe. We're doing a lot of cool, different kind of movie stuff. We did a trailer reaction to Fast and the Furious. And as we record now, there is a Wonder Woman trailer that dropped. So you're going to want to, if you want some reactions and thoughts, you're going to have to go subscribe to that YouTube page, guys. So go do that. Other than that, that's all for us. Watch wrestling.
Woo!